Well, I decided to write an autobiography. First of all, I was asked to do it, and my first reaction was, no, I don't want to write. I don't want to write about, it felt like it would be an expanded CV, and dull. And I thought, how can you write anything interesting unless it's the real truth? And then that implicates so many people. And then I started to think about it because I really enjoyed writing my novel, Maggie's Tree. I'd loved writing that, the process and And so I started to think about it, and I thought, no, I would. And the thought of writing about my childhood really appealed to me, and sort of sifting through it and making connections and that really, and writing about all the key figures in it and everything. And so I thought, yes, I will. I'll do it. I'll have a go. I didn't know how it was going to be, and then I wrote about 600 words. I thought, oh, that's it. I've written it. I couldn't think of anything else for a while, and then I thought, no, come on, no, it's okay. It's going to be all right. And so those are the reasons. I really enjoyed writing it. And at first, the thing is with my novel, I wrote it over 10 years. I shouldn't say that because people will be expecting, I don't know, Anna Karenina or something. Some years I only wrote a paragraph, and a couple of years would go by and I think, oh, that character's been in bed for 2 years, I'd better get her up and things like that. And I wrote it in between acting jobs, so it never felt like a real job, which is the wrong way to go. And then suddenly Orion, my wonderful editor, Alan Sampson, rang and said, we want it in June last year. And I thought, I can't possibly do that because it'd take me 10 years to write. You know how I write. I can't possibly do that. But I thought, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to sit down and do it as a proper job, writing job, and shelve the old acting and do it as a writing job. And that's what I did. And the greatest pleasure was meeting my own little targets every week. That was one of the, that was really fantastic. And the fact that I actually finished it was like the biggest piece of homework ever in the world. And then, I finished it for the job. Yeah, so I absolutely loved doing it. I wanted the book to be, first of all, truthful as I could make it be without hurting anyone or exposing anyone in any way. And, just like life, some things made me laugh about my life, and so I put, and other things touched me and hurt me and upset me. And I wanted it to be a full picture, not just a load of comedy reminiscences, which there are quite a few in there, obviously. But there is the other stuff as well, and that's how I wanted it to be, as full a picture as it could possibly be. I think one of my favourite moments is when I was doing athletics and I'd torn my hip muscle and I had to do walking instead, which people don't do today. And I don't know whether it's been banned or what, but in those days you used to see people, quite a few people, like you see people jogging now, you would see people doing this walk, and it was just the most ridiculous walk you've ever seen. It looked like somebody'd had a terrible accident. And, they look like a duck from the back, and it's the bottom going, and you couldn't lift one foot up before the other one's on the ground, so you weren't jogging. And it was an actual sport. Well, I took that on, and I was terribly competitive, as with the running, terribly competitive. So he decided, the coach, to put me in for an athletics meeting where there was a walking event. And I went off a shovel, off I went down the track, and, of course I was miles ahead of everybody, but gradually, because I just hadn't paced myself. One, I hadn't listened to anything the man had said. I just wanted to be out front, And of course, gradually, one by one, everybody overtook me. And then, so I thought, oh my God, I'm going to come last. I'm not only going to be last, I'm going to be last by about 2 hours. People will have left the stadium. This is absolutely appalling. So I engineered in my head, right, what I've got to do here is I've got to stage an illness. So I did this, and then teetered off the track and wobbled along for a while, and then collapsed, thinking, that's it, now I've got out of it now. They all came running, because St John ambulance people came with a stretcher. I thought, God, I'm in the centre of my very own athletics drama, and I'm going to be carried off like this. Is going to be... Anyway, the coach then came up and said, get up, don't be so daft. She's gone off a shovel, and now she's got pufflet. It was always completely humiliating. The whole crowd ran me by now. And he just sort of, took all the wind out of my sails, and he said, you don't need that stretcher, took that away. So that was it, and that was the end of my walking career. But I loved writing about it. It really made me laugh.